Policy Committee. The first thing on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Does anyone have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Oh,
No, you get it.
you got it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Next is the reading of the equity statement. Do I have a volunteer, please?
Sure, I'm happy to do it. Columbia Public Schools, through action and in partnership with families and community, will uphold the values, policies, and practices that promote cultural competence. We will accept, embrace, and empower students and staff in their individual identities to establish and sustain human dignity, justice, and equitable treatment, and inclusiveness in the classroom and workplace.
All right, so the process today, I think we're just gonna do what we did last time, and that's everybody can have a say on who they think who should be on the committee, and then we will then ask for votes. I'm just gonna say that we have one person who is requesting to return, and that's Ann Alexander, and I will say that she has been an excellent addition to the Policy Committee in the last year. She's very knowledgeable. She's an attorney and she works at the university teaching educational law and policy. So anybody who wants to make suggestions, the floor is open. April?
I would echo what you said about Ann. I think she has brought a tremendous amount of knowledge and input to the committee this year and helped us to think about things that we may not have otherwise thought of. I also like Sam Hayes because she has experience, what I call boots on the ground. She recently, most recently taught at CPS. And in that role, I know she also worked on quite a bit of equity work there. And she's got a background, I believe, in policy. And so I think she could be a strong individual, someone who has seen the boots on the ground and understands, maybe has a little bit better understanding of some specifics of our policies because she would have already known our policies, but yet she's been away from it for 2 years, and she has students in the district. I think she has students in the district now, or will shortly have students in the district. So from a parent perspective as well.
And she is a lobbyist for NEA?
No, she is not a lobbyist. She is the practice director.
She says, part of my role includes being the executive branch lobbyist for Missouri NEA.
Oh, I didn't think she was a lobbyist. I thought she said she worked with lobbyists. It includes being, Otto Fajan is the lobbyist for Missouri. I mean, the NEA, I don't know how many lobbyists they have.
That's legislative lobbyist. Executive lobbyist would mean that she interacts with the executive agencies versus interacting with
What's going on?
legislative.
Yeah.
Because there's different forms of lobbyists, so it means that she's designated to work with DESE.
Yeah, it says she works with DESE and the State Board of Education, which is also, I think a strong skill.
Okay.
I also really like Ann. I think she had good contributions, even just the few meetings I was at, and also just from hearing different things. I think her law knowledge is specific to educational policy, which makes it particularly relevant, as well as having kids in the school, so it brings a couple different perspectives. So I like having her on it. I would see her joining again. I actually have 3 others that I would potentially propose, but the one that's at the top of my list actually would be David Kang. I think that he has some background in education and actually teaching, being in the classroom, also in some analysis and looking at long-term consequences. So even though it's in a different field than education, I think that that is really important and potentially brings a very different perspective than what we've had before. And he's had a lot of experiences, and I don't know, I honestly, when I looked at everyone, I actually did it blind. I looked at what they wrote in terms of like interest or expertise. And it stood out to me immediately. But I mean, just from some of the things, right, he's experienced with mentoring, with classroom teaching strategies, active and kinesthetic learning, passive learning, flipped classrooms, like a lot of different things and experiences. And I think our policies have the potential to affect all of these different types of learning environments. And so I think it's a different perspective and might be really valuable. And so he is actually the second person I would potentially put forth.
Okay, well, thank you. Dr. Yearwood, do you have anything to say?
No, I was
gonna
going to,
jump in.
Mrs. London first.
Ms.
Yeah,
London?
yeah.
I also had David Kang as one of mine, like Ms. Snodgrass. I also had Teresa Vandover. I think where she writes policy regarding, I think that's probably K-12 achievement. She has been also at Columbia College, has an extensive background in working with school districts and administration and our students, some of them that filter over to Columbia College. So I do think that she would bring an excellent level of expertise to this. David Kang was my second. And then, I don't know if I'm gonna say the name right, Zhao Bin Dai, the very last one on the list. I thought the leadership studies, school policies, program evaluation, teacher evaluation, I thought all of those. And he's also, those three were also three that didn't seem to like choose policy committee as a second option. So that's always of interest to me, is like, is this my backup if I don't get my first choice?
Oh, can they rank them when they select?
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't think they just put
But
them
some choose
They didn't
just
put
policy.
anything but policy.
Yeah.
Is what she said.
Okay, I got you.
So, yes. No, I love the nominations. I think Anne brought a different perspective in. She was, basically very knowledgeable, contributed a lot to it. David Kang was also another one that I was very impressed with his background. For me, also, how many we get to choose? Two, right?
We have to do two.
Two, okay. So I would say my two would have been Anne and David Kang.
Dr. Holtz, do you have anything? I realize you can't vote, but you
Yeah,
certainly have a
I
say in the
can
committee.
I agree with what you all had mentioned about, what was it, David Kane. I also was really intrigued by, what was the one that I just had, sorry. By Christina Lara.
There's a Christina Logston.
There's a Christina
Christina
Lara.
Lara?
There
Christina
is?
Lara.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked what she said with her desire for children to have equal access to a quality education is profound. I believe that every child deserves dignity, respect, and love. And then there was. I think those were my top two.
Okay. All right, so the people mentioned were Ann Alexander, David Kang, Christina Lara, Samantha Hayes, Teresa Dover, and Zhao Bin Dai, out of our 34 people, which is an incredible amount of people. So I'm going to open the floor to motions to nominate people for the committee.
Do we nominate one or two?
Let's go with one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to nominate Ann Alexander.
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion on Ann? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye, opposed.
Any abstentions? All right, the ayes have it. Ann is one of our people. Do we have another motion?
And which to nominate David Kang.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We have our two people, and again, if anybody is watching, I want to thank everybody for for applying, and I appreciate everybody. I don't know which one had their hands up first.
My question is, since they applied, which I wouldn't have expected anything has changed, but let's say you reach out to them and they, for whatever reason, between when they applied and when you reach out to them, say, I'm not gonna be able to do it, then what happens?
Under our policies, we would then appoint for the vacancy.
We would appoint for the
Yeah,
vacancy.
so we would
Okay.
have to do that at the next meeting.
Okay, all right, I just wasn't sure what the process was.
I just wanted to note that I don't know what this looked like last year, but I was blown away by the number of community members that took the time to fill it out and the vast array of expertise of like people that we had not previously been in contact with. And I know when this first came up 4 years ago, whenever it was, when we started talking about this, and the community members, there was concern that like people weren't interested, and I think this shows that they really are, and this is, that we should like remember as a board that this is a great resource now of like this list of names, people that are interested in being involved with these specific skills. I just think it's really worth noting how many people applied to be part of this.
Absolutely agree, and every single one of these people would have been a great addition to the policy
Yeah.
committee, which also blew me away in this, so.
Yeah, the extent in which they would write, it's almost like they were submitting their resumes for the committee. I mean, they wrote extensive information, which was great.
All right, well, with nothing more, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you very much.